Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to the fine Wednesday we have. Thankfully, not too bad weather. Some announcements. Remember this tomorrow, normal class, and we will have a tutorial, a Q&A type tutorial, getting you ready for Friday semester test. So some Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, you will have a semester test that will be uploaded to Eve. You'll have 10 minutes reading, 3 hours to code, and an hour to upload. Okay, please, again, if you upload after the due time, we won't accept it. It has to be uploaded within the time frame of that hour, so please be careful. So that's this week. Then next week, as mentioned to the students in the chat, those who are watching the video, we'll put the notice on Eve as well. Next week, Wednesday, there won't be an actual lecture. We're going to give it off. You're going to do a bonus assignment involving Projects Day. If you look on the Eve website, Projects Day has already started this year. Normally, it's a one-day event. This year, it is a virtual event, hosted over a couple days. We'll come up with something quite simple that involves you interacting with the third-year honors teams and seeing what their projects are about. So a simple bonus assignment that'll count towards your practicals. So it'll count inside your practicals. So it might help bump up a practical. But all your practicals, again, ladies and gentlemen, your practicals only count 10% towards the semester mark. Semester test 1 counts 25%, semester test 2 counts 65%. And again, just a reminder, you qualify to write the exam. There's no exemption. You qualify to write the exam if your semester mark is above 30%, but your practical component mark is above 50%. That is a fixed policy in the academy. It applies to all subjects in the academy. So regardless of the module in the year, you have a PCM component, which in your case is semester test 2 and your weekly practicals combined. We work a mark out of 75, and then we check what you got. The calculation for the PCM is in the learning guide. Some of you guys never read. So if you want to see how to work out the PCM, it's in the learning guide. Again, tomorrow we'll have a lecture in the morning and a tutorial in the afternoon. It will be Q&A, getting you guys ready for the semester test on Friday. Any other questions? Anything I've missed? But again, there's a bonus assignment next week for your Projects Day. The group projects are starting, the assistants are starting to mark them. Please do your peer review. A team review will be available next week. I just need to make the Google form. And you can do a team review. There will be I think the university is going to ask you guys to do you need to do your peer review. You'll need to do a module evaluation. Again, the university is very keen on doing another module and teaching evaluation. So please look out for that on Blackboard. And some investors and myself are going to do an anonymous feedback. We want to see your guys' actual thoughts as well. So we might have a few more feedback forms for you guys, just to get some informal feedback, anonymous informal feedback. The team feedback will be affixed to your team in case there's a problem with the team. Okay, I think I covered all the main announcements I need to do. Let's start up with today's lecture. Let me ask the odd 38 people. Was it fun working in a team? Semi, okay, what else? Pros and cons. Sometimes it was bad. Okay, so today we're going to discuss the Balban roles of IT teams and a bit of team aspects. And then tomorrow we'll probably discuss miscommunication. That's a big problem. We'll discuss experiences with third-year projects and first-year projects. It's fun. Learning new stuff and achieving was fun. Okay, looks like you guys had a somewhat enjoyable group project. Some of you guys had. Some of you guys did not have enjoyable group projects. It comes with the territory. So we're going to discuss the one part of the one lecture on social aspects. This is something very important, nightmare stories. We will discuss a few nightmare stories tomorrow of things we've experienced, myself and Mr. Van Westhuizen as mentors. What you guys haven't been informed properly, some of you might not be aware of. What Projects Day is is in third year for informatics, or informatics 3 specifically, you have to get into a group of 4 people. Again, what you did now. But instead of just one practical or counting one practical over a little bit of time, you spend the year working with each other. Okay? So the entire year you work on one project in third year informatics, and you pick your team members first week of the semester, and you stuck with that group for the year. You don't get to swap them out, you don't get to change, you stuck with them for the year. So what you experience now, Informatics 2, you have a mini project as well to get you ready for Informatics 3. So the idea behind all these projects, first year, it doesn't count much. First year counts a practical. It's not gonna freak you out. Some of you were fortunate enough to pick your team members. Some of you were auto-allocated, just depending on situation. Second year, hopefully we're out of the COVID situation. We're all back on campus. You can see each other. You can pick team members for Informatics 2. We'll get to the most difficult year in informatics. Okay, so Informatics 2 has another project, which is about a month long. And you make a small little system. And you will see some of those on Projects Day. There's 5 second-year teams. The best 5 second-year teams are presenting their projects on Projects Day as well. I'll explain why UJ loves team projects so much in a minute. Okay. And then in third year, you come to a situation where you spend the entire year working in a team on a project. What is the most difficult year of informatics? I would say third year, because you're having to develop a full-scale project. What kind of projects are you working on? Generally, the type of projects is you'll go to a company and get an idea, or you'll solve a business solution. But that's the bonus assignment for projects going to be, is going looking at what type of projects there are. Will we get a weighting on Eve? Waiting for what? And why does UJ love team projects so much? It's not UJ per se, it's the academy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. Is IT a solo activity? Okay. That's why we have team projects. Okay. Initially, there wasn't as many team projects as there are now. And initially, there was just your third year team project. But then we realized you guys needed a bit more lead up to third year. So we introduced first year projects, and then we introduced second year projects, just to give you a feel of working in a team. Your second year project is more important than its first year, because it gives you an idea of the people you're going to work with in third year. I've seen that. We'll talk about horror stories tomorrow. That's the project's idea. So you got to get this idea of working in a team. Okay, and as you've experienced, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Whenever you work with someone else, there's always conflicts. It's just how you manage the conflicts. So nightmare stories, alarming stats, amount of projects that fail. IT projects aren't always successful. Okay, these are but somewhat old stats. But in 2013, 50% of companies polled, at least one IT project failed. 2016, also projects failed. Here, if we look at 2018, 34% of projects finished on time, 42 came on budget. 2017, also a project failed. So there's always IT projects failing. This isn't always to do with the members. This isn't always to do with individuals working on it. It could be the scope of the project is incorrectly done. It could be the idea is incorrectly done. Came on budget, how? Yeah, that's actually an interesting question. How the hell did that came in on budget? Tomorrow, we're only speaking semester test 2 language. No, only in the TUT are we speaking semester test 2 language, because social aspects is 2 lectures. Today, I'm going to discuss the Melbourne roles, and then we discuss how things fit together more. Okay, so there'll be another lecture tomorrow on social aspects of IT. Okay, so thing is, 42% came in on budget. That means a whopping 58% of the projects were over budget. IT projects are horrendously known for being over time, over budget, and not as expected. Okay, so it's a bad quality in the industry, a bad situation. So we've got to rectify it. And that is one thing a lot of companies like when it comes to UJ students, especially, is the fact that they've worked in teams already. They experience how to work in a team. So they're more accustomed to going into industry and working in teams again, because they've experienced partly what it is like to work in a team. In a semi-controlled environment with a mentor and everything, that you have a bit more experience than a normal IT student, in the fact that you spent a year developing a project and not just listening to theory. So your third year project is very important. If you guys want the countdown, we can do it. Not everyone's on Discord. We'll have a Discord channel for questions for the test. Yes. I don't know about the countdown. I don't know. I'll do, maybe Mr. Labier can inform me about what that was. But getting back to topic. Is everyone okay with the stats? The stats aren't going to be in the semester test. We're not going to ask you what are the stats. Okay? This is just things to take note of. But this is the industry you're going into, and you're trying to become an IT professional. Remember, your goal is to share a screen with clock with time left, Joe. We'll do that. So we'll have a screen with time. Remember, your goal is not to become someone that can just code. Have you ever heard of the term code monkey? One person. A code monkey is something that refers to a person that spends day in, day out sitting at a desk programming. And that's all they do. They don't think, they don't do anything else, they just program. Oh, okay, code jockey. Okay, I'm used to the code monkey approach. Code jockey is also another term, thank you. Yeah, so someone says, yeah, someone who only codes what others tell them. Is that something you guys want to be? Maybe. Okay, no thanks. I'm happy to see that a lot of you don't want to become code jockeys. This is partly why yeah. I don't know the pay. I'm a lecturer. Ladies and gentlemen, I picked lecturing over a high salary, so I don't know the pay. So, sir, Mr. Van der Westhuizen says the pay is not bad. So I also see Mr. Becker's comment. So, sir, is that why UJ students stand out? Yes, this is partly why UJ students stand out when it comes to industry. We don't teach you to become code jockeys. We teach you to become software engineers. We teach you to become a developer, a designer, a project manager in some cases. Why is the rate of projects failing? Because the scale of the projects may increase, the way the project's managed may increase. The project can fail due to various reasons, from scope to scale to budget to it just discontinued because it's no longer needed. So there's many reasons. I'll discuss a bit more of that tomorrow. I'll drag my project management textbook out for that, for why projects fail. But one reason why projects go badly is bad team interaction. In terms of universities in South Africa, there's only two. In terms, I don't know. I can't say we're number one university in South Africa. Unfortunately, I think UCT holds that. But I know we are number 3, and we're the first university in South Africa outside of Britain to have the British Computer Society a stamp of approval. UCT had a few years later. Also, AXI is the oldest IT departments there are. AXI is one of the oldest IT departments. This is the 50th year of AXI being a functioning department. Okay, so it is one of the oldest IT departments in South Africa as well. So we come from a lot of experience. But the main thing is, and what is a key factor in why our third year students and honor students do so well, is this project aspect. Now, let's discuss software projects can be expensive as hell. Okay. No. So basically, a code jockey invents code and makes others people company rich. No, a code jockey is the reverse. A code jockey is, I'm a designer and an engineer. I tell the code jockey what to do. Okay, it's the other way around. A code jockey is the guy sitting and just writing code day in, day out, and he doesn't know how to solve his own problems. He uses pre-existing code. That's how I see a code jockey. Remember, at any point in the semester, have we strived to teach you VB, specifically VB? Okay, that's a difference. We're not teaching you VB, we're teaching you to program. Now, a code jockey only knows one language and only knows how to develop in certain approaches. They don't know how to think for themselves. Okay, so there's problems. You get the short courses where they teach you A or C or C++ in 14 weeks. The second you get a course that can teach you IT in 14 weeks, you have a problem. Yeah, that's generally like someone who's like you won't be able to program. That's not why you include option statements. Option statements is to make sure you properly understand why you're converting, why you're declaring variables, and why you are changing certain things in the code. Okay, we'll get to points where you don't need them anymore. Yeah, I would love a book that teaches you programming games in 21 days. Okay, let's move on. Now, we've got a few things to cover. What is a modifier? Depends on the term. A modifier could refer to a property method, or it could refer to the access rights. It depends on the context of the word modifier. So it could be your private setters or getters, or it could be your private, public, protected. So it just depends on the terminology, the context of the word modifier. Okay. So in a team, okay, cool. Projects typically, a project consists of a large number of people divided into groups and many technologies. Sometimes you know them all, sometimes you don't. Now, the question is, what type of people do you need to have a successful project? Do you need all the same type of people, or do you need different type of people? Interesting. Why do you guys say different or mixture? Just like a soccer team. Good, actually good analogy. Very nice. Variety, more ideas, different ideas. Good. I like that, ladies and gentlemen. I like to see that you guys are thinking like that. And that's the right thing of programming. Good dovetail effect. Good. Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Different strengths like a dovetail effect. Different people excel in different tasks. Correct. Off topic. Why the dovetail? What do you mean by the dovetail effect? I'm curious because there's two rationales of a dovetail. I haven't heard the term dovetail effect. Just Google this. Dovetail. Okay, that gives me woodwork tool dovetail effect. English. Okay, that's interesting. Because I know dovetail effect, dovetail in woodworking, and then dovetail when a dove actually flies off. Seeing a dovetail means warning. It's actually warning each other. But that's off topic. Okay, let's get back to topic since we've wasted a bit of time. Now, I'm very happy to see that you guys agree that a group of different people is the right thing. Okay. Now, also working in a group helps one improve that EQ level. Interesting. Why do you say EQ level, not IQ level? Socialize. You can talk. Someone wanted to talk. I mean, to see if. Okay, audio's on.
Afternoon, sir. So
After.
the reason why I'm in high school, the projects that we used to go to for math, they say in the company they don't look for a robot. They're still a student. They want someone who can be able in collectively and not one person, but one can collectively know how to work with. Because in a company they need a structure. In this department can work with this department and so forth and so forth, like a team member, So it helps with that. That you become more in a level of working with other people and think like other people and not say that I'm this smart or I'm this dumb, but you get that chance.
Okay, yeah. And you're in the right. You're on the right phrase. The specific one I asked about EQ is that refers to emotional intelligence, emotional quota. I'm not sure if I'm. Because you've got emotional intelligence and you've got intellectual intelligence, IQ. Now, some people may have very high IQs but low EQs. Some people are balanced. Some have very high EQs and very low IQs. It's not a bad or good thing. It just depends on how you structure. Now, content. Okay, there we go. Emotional quotient, intelligence quotient. Thank you, Mr. Investation. Now, those terms allow you to work in a team. And if you have, now we'll discuss the Belbin roles. These are different types of programmers or developers. And you'll find yourself fitting into one or more of the Belbin roles. I like to see okay, I agree sometimes too many chefs spoil the broth. That's why you have team leaders and you have democracy in like deciding on topics of a project. But the more people you have with different perspectives, the better a project can end up being, because they can use those strengths to their advantage. So let's discuss the Belbin roles when we come back to a general chat. So jack of all trades or master of none. Now, IT, you can kind of be a jack of all trades or master of none. So you could end up knowing all languages, but not really mastering a single language. So it's things you have to consider. Where is my mouse? Okay, so why teams suck? First thing, team management can be a challenge. Okay, let's just go through this quickly because there's quite a lot to cover as well. Many have technical skills but do not know how to work in a coherent manner. Lack of leadership, lack of communication, collaboration, mismatched personalities. A team of A students may be amazing programmers but cannot work with each other. Okay. So what this is a challenge, and this is a challenge in industry as much as it is in your team projects. If you've got a bad team leader or a badly put together team, it'll go badly. If your team leader lacks leadership, it goes badly. Someone mentioned communication or miscommunication earlier. That is the biggest factor that impacts IT projects at university level and industry level. One of the biggest reasons why third years battle with their projects is bad communication. What if there's leadership conflicts? That's another story altogether. Okay, we'll discuss. Look, we'll discuss all these points tomorrow. I agree. If there's leadership conflicts, we'll discuss horror stories tomorrow. Trial by combat. We've had students punch each other before. We had conflict, yeah. We'll get to those tomorrow. There'll be some fun stories tomorrow about what can go wrong in the third year project. And this is things you can ask the third years. Others have taken out restraining orders. Yes, that has happened. Others have called their big brothers to come and deal with me, especially. Because they weren't happy with me being their mentor. So they wanted their big brother to come talk to me. Yeah. The big brother stood at the end of the corridor and never came into the office. So with regards to IT, the higher you learn, does the value increase or the concept IT essentially apply? I'm not sure what you mean. The higher you learn, more degrees you have. Okay. To be honest, once in South Africa, once you've got you'll finish your third year, you'll easily get a job in industry. There's a demand for IT people in South Africa, so you'll get actually there's an IT scarce skill across the world. So generally, if you've got a bit of experience, you can get a job quite quickly in IT. I would recommend doing honors to specialize a bit. After that, if you want to go into research and development, you can look at master, and if you want to, but we'll discuss that later. PhD is if you're going to become an academic. So it's not about, if you've got an honors, a lot of companies will send you back to do honors. It helps you with specialization. That's off topic. A master's is more about the ability to do R&D, research and development. I know a few people that have done masters and gone to industry, but you don't really get paid instantly more if you've got a master's. You start at the base rate and go up. Let's look at some other things. We'll discuss the bad problems tomorrow, but the Belbin roles. I just want to discuss the Belbin roles because I don't want to overgo time. Now, within the Belbin roles, there is multiple personality types, and you might be strongly pulled towards a certain type and another type. You might be a mixture of two. So we're going to discuss them all, and then we'll discuss this more holistically tomorrow or more open tomorrow. Resource investigator, okay? Now, for each Belbin role, there's strengths, weaknesses, and don't be surprised to find that. So a resource investigator uses their inquisitive nature to find and bring back ideas to the team. Is it sometimes to be a disadvantage to be overqualified in the IT field? I don't think so. When I started lecturing, one of the professors was leaving to industry and he got a job quite quickly. I don't think there's such a thing as overqualified IT. It's more about experience. Experience is more important. Okay, I might be mistaken. Depends where you apply. We can discuss these tomorrow as well. We'll do a broadband discussion tomorrow. So a resource investigator, very good at bringing back ideas, but they don't really follow up on them. They're enthusiastic, they explore, they develop contacts. They may be the problem is they might be over optimistic and lose interest once an initial interest has passed. So they're quick to find an idea, say, this is great, this is awesome, and then get bored and move on to the next one. So that's a resource investigator. You get a team worker. This is something that's important to have in a team. Helps the teams gel, use their versatility to identify work required and complete it on behalf of the team. So they're more of a team worker. So they will find a way to gel the team and find places to fit in and help the team. They are also, the thing is, each role has a good and a bad thing. A team worker is not a person you want leading a team because they will hesitate to make decisions. They won't make a decision because they don't want to be unpopular. They don't want to be the popular one that's helpful to everyone, friendly to everyone, gets on with everyone. As it says, they're cooperative, they're perceptive, they're diplomatic, listen and avert friction. Problem is they're indecisive and tend to avoid conflict. So they're not going to, oh no, there's a problem, let's avoid it. So there's a drawback to a team worker sometimes. A coordinator needs to focus on a team's objectives, draw out teams, members, and delegates work appropriately. So they are good at organizing things. They're confident, they're mature, they identify talent, they clarify the goals. And the problem is they can also be the ones that push off their work to other people. And they might over delegate and leave themselves little. So essentially, a coordinator might over organize things to the point where they organize everything to the point where they give away their own work as well. So they end up doing nothing. So also our best thing, but you want someone that's partly a coordinator. A plants are useful. Okay, let me discuss plants and I'll get to that question. Plants tend to have highly creative and good at solving problems in unconventional ways. The problem is they ignore incidents and may be preoccupied with communicating efficiently. So they tend to be a bit absent-minded and forgetful. So they're good for certain reasons. So it's good to be a mixture, I think, of the Belbin roles. I don't think being one Belbin role specifically is the best thing. With regards to teams, has it ever happened that a single participant did the whole project and did not report that he or she did the whole project? If this happened, how did you find out? Ladies and gentlemen, there have been situations where one person in the team doesn't work at all, and that's where the peer review comes in and the mentor comes in. So the mentor can actually indicate a person gets a 0. If a team also decides that a member deserves a 0 for doing nothing, the member can get a 0. That's why we do the peer reviews, and we have you guys will. When you're doing a big project, you'll see your team, your mentor once a week. You'll be in contact with your mentor once a week in your your third year project to avoid problems like that. So your mentor is also keeping track of your team as well. Okay, and we have a team like that. Mr. van der Westhuizen actually has a team like that where only one person is working out of the entire team. It's easy to find out because the team members tell us. Okay, it's quite easy to find out because generally they'll tell the mentor. Every third year team is assigned or will pick a mentor to a degree. So it'll be lecturers like myself, Mr. van der Westhuizen, more of the general lecturers. The more senior lecturers are honors projects, and we help guide the third year teams along. So everyone okay with the plant? If you are a plant, it's not a bad thing. Monitor, evaluator, provides a logical eye, making impartial judgments or where required, and weighs up the team's options in a despondent way. Dispassionate way. Wow. Sober, strategic, discerning, sees all options and judges accurately, sometimes lacks the drive and ability to inspire others and can be overcritical. So a bit of an ass. They could be slow to come to decisions. Problem. Specialist. Okay, specialist brings in-depth knowledge to a key area, to a team, single-minded, self-starting, and dedicated. Provides specialized knowledge and skills. This is an important trait for certain areas. Tends to contribute on narrow fronts and can dwell on technicalities. They overload you with information. Okay, so they know too much of one thing and not enough of everything else. Okay, so that's also good and bad, depending on what you do. You sometimes sometimes the projects you're developing, you need a specialist or a expert knowledge to develop the system properly. So sometimes important. A shaper. Now, a shaper provides the necessary drive to ensure that the team keeps moving and does not lose focus or momentum. They are challenging, dynamic, thrive on pressure, has a drive and courage to overcome obstacles, can be prone to provocation and sometimes offend people's feelings. They could risk becoming aggressive, bad-humored in their attempts to get things done. I think I'm partly a shaper occasionally. On the aggressive and bad-humored attempts. Okay, I could shaper. Okay, but I'm also a party specialist. Now we've got an implementer. Needs to plan a workable strategy and carry out it in an effective way possible. So an implementer needs someone to give them a strategy and say, this is the project, this is what we're doing, go for it. They are practical, reliable, efficient, turns ideas into actions, organizes work that needs to be done. Someone you really want on your team. Can be inflexible and slow to respond to new possibilities. So problem with the implementer is once they've got their plan in place, they don't want to change it. They might be slow to relinquish their plans in favor of positive changes. As said, once they've got their plan, that's their plan. A complete or finisher, most effective, used at the end of a task to polish up and to scrutinize the work for errors. Very subjective to high standards, so they want to make sure it's very well put together, it looks nice, it functions properly, it's how it should be. Can be inclined to worry unduly and reluctant to delegate, so they want to do everything, they don't want it to give away tasks, because they want it to be perfect, and they could be accused of taking their perfectionism to extremes. So sometimes they need it to a degree, but the problem is they can't be left to finish the project because the project will never be finished. Okay, Balban broken into the three sub categories: action, people, and thought orientated. So your action orientated people are your shapers, your implementers, your complete finishers. Your people are your coordinator, team worker, and resource. And your thought orientators are your plants, monitor, evaluator, and specialists. Now that you can do the research on the information there. These are the Balban roles, and most IT people fit into one or more of the Balban roles. Now, I'm not going to ask you which ones you are. I'll let you think about it. But did everyone find a Balban role that potentially could fit them? One or more? Yeah. And that's the thing is, everyone in IT is, and sometimes you could be polar opposites. Your Balban roles could be polar opposites, depending on what you are. You also can get people that can alternate their Balban roles based on the project. Sounds a bit bizarre, but it can be done. Okay. It's important to know what you are so you know how to interact with people. If you can identify, yes, I'm this type of person, then you know already how to tackle projects and how to handle interactions with people. Now, would you say, let's say a plant is a good team leader? Actually, let's go to here. Which one would you say is a good team leader out of the 9 Balban roles? Coordinator. I don't think many people do personality tests. Some companies do an evaluation on your personality, but not really on the Balban role levels. That's a good question. Rebecca, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Which is better, asking people what you are or finding out yourself? I generally find a person generally is overcritical of themselves, and generally you don't really know yourself that well. So sometimes asking other people does help. It has to be someone that knows you well. Depends on your friends, I guess. But let's see, we got coordinator and shaper as. So shaper, I think a shaper would be an important person for a team leader, but they need to avoid the aggressive tendency. And a coordinator, I think a coordinator might overdo it. So I think a combination of a shaper and a coordinator might make a good team leader. A bit of each, actually. It depends on the project. A good idea. In a team, would it make sense to have just plants? Okay. You guys can agree that in a team, you need a combination of shapers, coordinators, team workers, resource investigators. You need a combination of these people, or a combination of people that fit these roles correctly. Unfortunately, what you're going to discover when you go to industry, and I think some of you discovered it already, is you don't always get to pick your team. You don't always get to pick your team when you go to industry. Third year and second year, you still get to pick your team. Sorry. So third year and second year, you pick your team. Some of you experienced it this year when you didn't really pick your teams. We had to assign you because unfortunately, we didn't really know each other that well because of COVID, the COVID situation. But hopefully by next year, you guys will be back on. We'll all be back on campus, and you'll be back in the labs, and you'll get to see each other, and then you can find a team to work in second year together with. But let me ask you this question: did working on that one single project give you an idea of what teamwork is like? Okay, got a small glimpse, and that's the goal of that project, was to give you a small glimpse what teamwork is like, the good, the bad, the ugly of a team, and we'll discuss that in more depth tomorrow. Today we just want to discuss the Balban roles, especially since the lectures are broken up into single lectures, which are annoying. So it's important to also see that as an individual in IT, you need to also be adjustable. I think working with people you don't know is efficient in a way. It gets work complete early to avoid disappointment. Sometimes that is true. Sometimes that is very true. One thing I would say is don't always work with your best friend on a project. They may be the person that gives you all the work to do. Okay, we'll tell you some horror stories of our own experiences and experiences of third years and honors students, or third years tomorrow in the morning lecture. What you can do also on Projects Day, how we've set up Projects Day, let me just show you. Because Projects Day has started this year, since it's virtual, we're running it a bit longer than normal years. So that is the Projects Day website. So on the 21st of October, I only want to work with ladies. I'm not going to say much. Nothing against the ladies in IT. Please do not. I'm not getting involved in that argument at all. I've seen some excellent projects developed by all-female teams. Actually, I had 2 years ago, I had a third-year team of just female students, and they did an excellent project. One of the awards the Academy actually gives is Best Female IT Student in third year and honors. Off topic, back to the website. Okay, so right now the system, the Projects Day isn't essentially live per se. So you can go in, you can go to say On the Move. You can look at their, please open up their video. You can look at their description, and you can visit their website. Okay, that's for this week, for now. On the 21st of October, there'll be a link to a Discord server where you can actually speak to the third year team, and you can ask them questions about their third year. So part of your assignment, your bonus assignment, will be to talk to some of the third years and hear some information from them. So you can either type to them, or you can actually speak to them over voice channels when they're not being judged. Because remember, Projects Day isn't about just showing off projects. This year is a bit more unique, as there are judges. There's over 60 judges that are judging the projects. The judges range from individuals from this year, especially since it's virtual, range from people from Canada to Australia to Norway to Ireland to Russia to where's other ones? I know we've got some Australians with some Canadians, we've got some Norwegians, some Europeans, Porsche is in Russia. Okay, so we got a lot of judges all over the place. They are going to judge the projects, and the best 3 projects actually win cash prize. So a lot of that's what happens on the 21st. Is the judges, some of the assistants that mark you on project stay, and so actually no, most of the assistants are either on project stay as 3rd year or as honors students. Because if you look at projects, you have 3rd years in honors. There should be a 2nd year. They're going to come on tomorrow. The 2nd year's link, their link will be here. So most of your assistants are either honors or 3rd year, so they'll be in one of the 2 categories. Except Mr. Spakerman. Mr. Spakerman falls here. Group 20, he falls in as a master student. So your assistants are presenting projects, yes. So they get judged by the group of judges. The lecturers have no say in it. We don't get any input. But they get judged, critiqued, judged a few times, and then the top 3 projects are selected, and then they get awarded cash prize for their work. Same for honors, the top 3 projects are awarded a card by industry partners. So they've got the academic marks. They know the academic marks. Project scale got nothing to do with academic, purely an expo of projects that have excelled through the year, have done well, and are being presented on. So this week you can look at the videos, look at the websites. Next week you can actually interact with them and talk to them. I mean, how much? It's a free public event. No, it's a free event. No price. Oh, prize. Hell, I don't know. Mr. Van der Westhuizen, can you? I know it's top prize. I think it's 10,000. Unfortunately, not laptops. No, it's a cash prize to the 3rd years. There's also prizes for 2nd years, best website, best video, best liked video, a whole bunch of other prizes from other companies, best honors. It's not purely about the prize, it's more about the recognition from industry. It's nice to say that you did well on Project Day, because the people judging you are not just, okay, this year's international, but they like the head of Microsoft, not the head of Microsoft, but one of the directors of South Africa Microsoft. There's some of the head of the banks in South Africa come and judge. There's the recognition is a lot, quite a lot, because a lot of the companies, like we got DVT, Allen Gray, we have Microsoft judges, we've got judges all over the place. You name a company, they sit their judges coming through generally, and they're coming to judge. And these are not just like your entry-level developers. They are CIOs. Is many Mr. Dr. Digital coming through. He's a CFO. You've got CEOs. You've got project managers, project leaders, research and developers. You've got all sorts of people coming through. Are banks more liked in IT? How are they liked? That's an interesting topic, because look, like there's 3 companies that you can mention off the bat, like BB&D, not so much. No, they're still big. You got DVT, Intellect. Now, if you go work for them, you get outsourced to work at the banks. So you might go work for a developing house, but the developer house will send you to go work at a bank. So banks are liked in IT. We have a lot of our exhibitors this year. Who are they? I'm partly one of the people arranging it. Yeah, so this year's exhibitors are MultiChoice, Alan Gray, BB&D, Soft Analytics, Intel, DVT, and BSG. So those are some of the people that are coming through. You actually can speak to the companies as well. So you can actually go and click on exhibitors, and they will send you to, and some of them will send you to the website. I know Intellect, and I think DVT will have someone that you actually can talk to on the 21st of October, and you can actually have a chat with someone from that respective company about IT. Are there field trips arranged by the Academy? No. A lot of the companies come to us. We don't go to them, they come to us. I have been to Standard Bank's war room once. The Standard Bank did invite some of the lecturers to their war room one year. It was an interesting field trip. Well, interesting visit. Legitimately a war room. A cybersecurity war room. Okay, off topic. I recall you saying you did game design in C++. No, I did game design in C#, Unity, and mainly Unity and C# and XNA. C++ is a big language for developing games in industry still. If you're doing, I'm guessing you extended, so you'll do C++ next year. C++ is a very powerful language, but it's got a lot of negative points and sometimes memory leaks. It's not a bad language to learn. It depends on what you're trying to do. Now, C++ has got it's a very interesting language, but like C# is the bastard child of VB, Java, C++, and a couple other languages mixed together and thrown out. So C# is a mixture. If you're developing a game for a mobile, then it's Java. If you're developing a game for desktop, it could be Unity, it could be Unreal, Kotlin, another language. Kotlin for mobile, sorry. Do apologize, one of these days gives a mobile course in honors. I think I'm going over time soon. Any other questions? But we're going to continue this discussion tomorrow morning in terms of war stories from third years and some more practical advice for projects. There is going to be, the reason we're doing social aspects for IT, there is a 10-mark question in your exam discussing social aspects of IT. So everything we're discussing about Balban roles and what you experienced as a person working in a team is going to pop up in your exam. Okay, social aspects is interesting as it is business-minded. Yeah, look, you'll find that you'll definitely enjoy Informatics 3, Mr. van der Westhuizen is correct. Informatics 3 is more about, look, ComSci is the programming. Informatics or software engineering is about the business side and the solution developing and real life situations. So the informatics is how to get it into the real world environment. ComSci is how to make the code. So the combination of the two is very powerful. My screens have just gone off, so I'm not sure what you guys are seeing or not. And I'm still not going to answer the question about semester test 2. So next week is our last test. Next week is the last week, ladies and gentlemen. Next week is the end of the semester. Yeah, I know you tried. Problem is, I'm a stubborn mule, so you're never going to get it out of it. So I need a bit of advice on module choice next year. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording because that's off topic. Ladies and gentlemen, again, tomorrow we'll have a continuation of social aspects of IT. We'll discuss a bit more Projects Day, and then in the afternoon we'll discuss the semester test or preparations for the semester test in the TUT. And then Friday is the semester test. Please be ready. That's the end of the recording. I'll answer the questions in chat now.